reading is the inspired, living Word of God. You don't take my word for it. You should believe what Bart Ehrman says. You're like, wait a second, isn't Bart Ehrman the copies of copies of copies guy? Shouldn't we not trust him, Nate? Well, you might be thinking that, but Bart Ehrman has a very confusing relationship with the truth. It's very interesting. He says this: the Bible is the best attested book in all of ancient history. Oh, that sounds a little bit different, doesn't it? A little bit different there. And here is what Ehrman said in his interview that I found this in the appendix of his book, Misquoting Jesus. Quite a spicy title there, isn't it? But this is what he says in Misquoting Jesus, which it's funny, at the end of Misquoting Jesus, he has a quote saying that Jesus wasn't really misquoted in any sort of significant way. The irony is not lost on me there, trust me. Bruce Metzger, who was the greatest Christian New Testament critical scholar, he was able to reconstruct the New Testament. He just was a bright mind, and he was an evangelical, committed Christian. Bruce Metzger is one of the greatest scholars of modern times, and I dedicate the book to him because he was both my inspiration for going into textual criticism, this is Bart Ehrman talking, and the person who trained me in the field. I have nothing but respect and admiration for him. And even though we may disagree on important religious questions, he is a firmly committed Christian, and I am not. We are in complete agreement on the number of very important historical textual questions. If he and I were put in a room and asked to hammer out a consensus statement on what we think the original text of the New Testament probably looked like, there would be a very few points of disagreement, maybe 1 or 2 dozen places out of many thousand. The position I argue for in Misquoting Jesus does not actually stand at odds with Professor Metzger's position, and I want you to listen to this point. It does not stand at odds with Professor Metzger's position that essential Christian beliefs are not affected by textual variants in the manuscript tradition of the New Testament. He doesn't think it affects any essential Christian beliefs.